Hey, solos. All right. So, what did I eat in 3.5 days on a semi-solo trip this June at Walt Disney World? Well, solo spoiler, I ate maybe the most delicious food that I've had there in a while. And I ate at places I hadn't really eaten at before, so I could tell you all about it. And in this bonus episode, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Hi, everyone. It's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Solo Magic, the podcast about the magic of going to Disney World solo. As I said, this is a bonus episode where I am going to talk about myself, my own little solo story about a trip that I just took to Disney World. And I wanted to tell you all about these delicious restaurants that I hadn't tried before, as well as some foods that are like standard favorites, but really got bumped up on this trip. Now, as a reminder, this podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. I think I said in not last episode, but maybe an episode before that, a lot of people are watching on YouTube, and it would be great if we hit 10 subscribers, and we did. So thank you. But it still seems pretty sad. Can we try to get to 15? Anyway, you can find this on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. It is definitely the #1 podcast about solo travel to Disney World. And I'm going to keep that statistic in my heart because I don't think there is any other ones. And it has been so wonderful to connect with you on Instagram, Disney_solo_magic, as well as on Facebook, Disney Solo Magic. And there is a new blog, DisneySoloMagic.blogspot.com, where you can see some other complimentary blog posts to the episodes. For example, this past week, Farah Roshan and I had the most amazing conversation about her experiences going to Disney solo. Farah is a Disney author. She's also a romance author, but she's written 2 books for Disney, the Twisted Tale series, Almost There and Fate Be Changed, which are the Tiana and Merida stories. And she's also writing the origin story for Hercules Muses, which I cannot wait. So I made a complimentary blog post where you can easily get access to all of her books, the Disney ones and the other romance books that she writes. And one of the books, Pardon My Frenchie, just was published. You can easily get links to all of her books on the blog. So go check out the blog. All right, I think that's it. Let's get into it. All right, so I was at Disney World last week for about 3.5 days. I arrived Wednesday mid-morning and I left Saturday at the night. Now, it wasn't a fully solo trip. I did travel with my mother. In fact, she had called me at the end of May and she's like, it's been a really long time since I've been. Maybe you want to go again and I can come? Sure, great, we can do that. But one of the reasons why I really wanted to go in June was because I did want to create some content for the blog. I want to look up future activities for a future episode on non-park days, things that you can do. I wanted to check out some of the different resorts and take some pictures. So again, they could work for the blog and for Instagram. And I wanted to check out some new restaurants. Now, normally if I'm going on these semi-solo trips, because my mom didn't go to the parks at all and I did, I wouldn't necessarily say anything because it's still kind of a solo trip. But the reason why I'm identifying that I did go with someone for this is because for at least 2 of the meals, they weren't necessarily meals that you could do solo. So I'm just highlighting that as a way for you to do your own planning, do your own thinking, and maybe you can use something like the Facebook Disney Solo Facebook group, not my page, but there is a Facebook group for Disney solo travel to connect with another solo who might want to do some of these experiences with you. So I just wanted to preface that. I wanted to be really clear because I wanted to make sure you knew what you were getting into. And one of the first things that actually needs minimum 2 people is the Dreams That Soar tasting experience at Jaleo by Jose Andres at Disney Springs. And that, like I said, is a minimum of 2 people because it's a series of tapas, and I guess it's just too difficult to do tapas for one. But if you have someone that you can go with, definitely do this. Dreams That Soar is the new drone show at Disney Springs. It was just gorgeous. It was breathtaking. I don't think I actually have fully like comprehended how beautiful the show was. So if you're going to Disney Springs this summer, definitely go and take a look. And I should just say, for the blog, I also have a calendar there where you can see all the different things that are happening on individual days. And so if you go to the calendar, you can see all the days that Dreams That Soar will be doing its thing. There is a earlier show, like right when the sun sets, and there is a later show about an hour and a half later. When the show first came out, it was very, very busy, like dangerous levels of crowds. I think it wasn't dangerous levels of crowds, but it definitely was busier than I've seen Disney Springs. And because I was with my mother and she's elderly, and because I just want to be able to like see things myself, I wasn't really keen on just kind of like sticking around Disney Springs and like just waiting for the show to happen. So I saw that All Ears and Mammoth Club promoted the fact that Jose Andres's restaurant, Jaleo, has this tasting experience that's a prefix, so one price, that you sit down at around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and you sit there until the show. You sit there and you eat. I'll get to the food in a second. You sit there and you eat and drink if you want to until the show, and then you basically have like front row seats to the show, and you're sitting down. So everybody is like, on the sidewalk looking up at the show, and you're just sitting on this beautiful patio, like sitting with delicious food, watching the drone show. It's $79 per adult, and it was totally, totally worth it. Again, you need a minimum of 2 people, but like just find someone off the street. It is so worth it. Solos, it is so worth it. So for $79, you have this hour and a half seat on the patio with a beautiful view of the drone show and a 14-course tapas tasting menu. And tapas are these like little plates, kind of like Chinese dim sum, I guess. They're like a whole bunch of little plates. And you might think, oh, that's not going to be enough to eat for me. But there's a salad that comes with, there's steak, there's shrimp. So by the end of it, both of us were very full. I thought maybe, I'd have to go get fries or chicken fingers or something afterwards. No, I was so full. So well worth it for the cost. These 14 different courses went from special Iberico ham to this liquefied olive. I hate olives actually, but I still tried it, and whatever. It's basically, it's exactly that, a liquefied olive. It had these there were these fish fritters and like chicken ball fritters, which were really, really good. There was a cone that had honey and like a sausage and cheese. Like I said, they had shrimp that was like garlic and butter shrimp. Oh my God, it was so good. And then they had this steak and salad plus 2 desserts. Oh, it was so amazing. And on top of that, you get to watch the show. So again, highly, highly recommended. Not something you can do solo, but is definitely worth it if you can find somebody to come and do it with you. Again, just find somebody off the street. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it to eat with a stranger. If I go back in August, you can let me know if you want me to join you again. I would definitely do it again. Okay, so that brings us to Thursday morning. So we stayed at Pop Century. And one of the reasons why I love staying at Pop Century is because you have the Skyliner and you can easily get to Art of Animation, which is the neighboring hotel that you don't need the Skyliner for, but also Caribbean Beach and Riviera, because those are both stops on the Skyliner. And that means that you have a lot of food options. Unlike at the value resorts where you're kind of stuck with just that food court. And just a reminder that through July and August, all of those episodes are going to be on the value and moderate resorts, the layout, the pros and cons of going for solos, etc. And there'll be aligned blog posts. So Pop Century is always a standout. That's going to be a spoiler for talking about the value resorts. And the breakfast at Riviera in their quick service called Primo Plato is one of my favorite breakfasts. There is a blueberry and lemon pancake with a mascarpone cream on top, and I get it with strawberries or another kind of fruit cup. There is a lavender iced tea in the coffee shop on the first floor of the Riviera, and that is like the most delicious European fancy way to start your breakfast at Disney World. And yeah, it's not a Mickey waffle, it's not scrambled eggs, it's not bacon, it's not any of that, but it is quite like a sophisticated, inexpensive breakfast, and it's always a favorite. And it didn't let me down on Thursday morning either. On Thursday afternoon, we were walking around to the different resorts, and we ended up at the boardwalk around lunchtime. And there is a boardwalk deli there that is very good, but we didn't want to eat there because it was so hot. Oh my God, everyone, it was so hot. It was so hot that there wasn't really a place that we could comfortably sit in the shade. It just felt like an inferno. Everything felt really heavy. So we wandered over to the pool bar. The pool bar at the boardwalk is open. Like, you can't swim in the pool because you're not, unless you're a hotel guest at boardwalk, of course. But it's very easy to get to the pool bar, and you can go and sit at the bar that looks like an old carousel. It's called Leaping Horse Libations. And I don't know if any of you remember, there was a movie back in the early 90s called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. And it was about this woman named Sonora who went blind, and she leapt off a diving thing with a horse. And then like that very, very cute actor from Mermaids and Pretty in Pink was in it. Some of you remember. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. That woman, by the way, Sonora, was a real woman, actually. She also wrote a biography. It's interesting. And there is no hot guy in it like there is in the movie, but you can get that book if you want. Anyway, the carousel, or the Leaping Horse Libations pool bar that looks like a carousel, it has an image of a diving horse. So I'm always like, oh, Sonora. Anyway, so we went there to eat just something really quick. We didn't eat anything fantastic there. In fact, I ordered a kids meal, and that's just a really great tip, solos, just generally. Like, order kids meals when you want. If you want, you get less food, which might be great, especially in the heat. And it came with like sides of carrots and strawberries, and yeah, it was better than getting something big and heavy that I might not have really wanted in the heat. Did I mention it was hot? But the thing that I wanted to mention was I don't drink alcohol, but there was this drink called the Spicy Watermelon Spritz. And normally it has Tito's vodka, cold pressed watermelon juice, jalapeno, and lime topped with Sprite and a chili lime rim. And I was like, oh, the only thing that's alcoholic is the vodka. So can I have that as a non-alcoholic drink? And I was able to get that, and it was delicious. It was so great. I'll post a picture of that on Instagram. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And it was really refreshing on a very hot, I mentioned it was hot, a hot day. And so, yeah, like, go explore the pool bars, especially at the deluxe resorts, because they often have more interesting kind of cocktail concoctions, and go check out like a different type of pool setup and different food and drink area, and you might be surprised at what you find. Now, Thursday for dinner, I was on my own. I was solo. I went to Epcot by myself, and I got to walk around. I don't know why I said we. I got caught in a rainstorm along with everybody else. Maybe that was where the we came from. And to be honest, getting caught in the rainstorm was like, I don't want to say it was the highlight of my day. It was a really great day, but it was the first time all day that my body temperature felt normal. And just like I said in the summer preparation episode, I had my rain jacket with me. I just put the raincoat on. I had shoes that didn't slip and slide in the rain, and I just continued my day. Everyone was all huddled, under things, and it was like, no, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. So I was at Epcot, and I had a reservation at the lounge at Space 220, and it was the first time I got to go to Space 220. I have tried to get a reservation since it opened, and this was the first time, and I was so impressed. And as you may know, there is a dining room and there is a lounge, and there is reservations for both. And of course, you can try with walk up, but I had a reservation. And I've talked a lot about lounges as like one of the best kept secrets for solos, but the lounge area at Space 220 is giant. It's bigger, I think, than the regular dining room. So don't think it's like less than. In fact, the dining room, you have a prix-fixe menu with kind of heavy entrees. So going to the lounge is kind of perfect. And my waiter was very efficient. So I was in and out in like 30, 40 minutes, which I may have had an issue with normally, but first I was very tired. And second, I really wanted to go to the new Communicore Hall and meet like Mickey and Minnie, and we were close to closing time. So I wanted to get in there as soon as possible. And I was able to do all those things because I got out so quickly. I kind of always thought that Space 220 would have been like the Coral Reef restaurant, which is like really cool, but like maybe doesn't like quite live up to the hype or like the concept in your head. But you know what? Space 220 was super, super worth it. And I would go back as soon as I could, frankly. I got 2 appetizers. I had the shrimp tacos and I had the deviled eggs. I had a wonderful, very amazing seat facing the like outdoors or facing like outer space. And it was just, I didn't feel compelled to pick up my camera and just like scroll while I was eating. I was just so enamored by being able to look out of space. And to be honest, it actually made me think of that 5-hour documentary about the Star Wars Galactic Hotel and like all of the ways that it didn't like, maybe live up to its hype. And I'm like looking around this restaurant thinking, like, this is amazing. How could you do worse than this restaurant? So I don't know. Anyway, it was delicious. Very, very worth going. The shrimp tacos were delicious. They're like the hard taco shell was a wonton and it was so, so good. The deviled eggs were not great. They really tasted heavily of mayonnaise. They didn't really have any like texture or depth to the flavor, and I didn't eat them, and the waiter saw that I didn't enjoy them and he took them off my bill without even asking or inquiring, and that's why I love Disney service. All right, we're on to Friday. Friday, we had reservations at Park Fair 1900 or 1900 Park Fair for breakfast, and it was really good. Now, I went to 1900 Park Fair like maybe 20 years ago with a former partner. And I remember, like, when I think of it, I think of it like we were in a basement. And so I was kind of wondering if that memory was correct. And that memory might be correct, but there was nothing about this time that I went with its renovation and new characters that felt like a basement at all. It was very light and airy, and the energy was really, really positive. And yeah, it was really good. There wasn't anything spectacular on the buffet. It was a buffet character breakfast, but there was also nothing terrible at all by any means. And I had this really cool star anise hibiscus green non-alcoholic tea, which was one of the like most interesting drinks that I've had at Walt Disney World in a while, for sure. They also had the famous strawberry soup, which I don't think I've ever tried. And yeah, it was good. It tasted like, melted strawberries in a milkshake, but not quite that sweet. And it was definitely worth trying. So if you're thinking about going to that restaurant and you've heard like lukewarm things about the food, yeah, like the food's not amazing, but it's definitely worth going. I really enjoyed it. The food was exactly what I expected, and the character interactions with Mirabelle and Cinderella and Aladdin and Tiana in her new like business suit was super fun. In fact, one of the reasons why I wanted to go that particular week was because it had annual pass previews for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I did not get on, and I am definitely okay with that. But I painted my nails so that they kind of matched Tiana's new like scarf for like her little business outfit. And I was like, okay, well, if I don't get to see her on the ride, I can still see her at the restaurant and show her my nails. And so as a grown woman, that is what I did. I showed her that my nails matched her scarf, and she said she loved them. So there you go. All right, so moving later into Friday, we did a very late lunch / early dinner at Wilderness Lodge at the Geyser Point Bar and Grill, which is the outdoor pool bar at Wilderness Lodge. You can take a boat there from Magic Kingdom. It's a place that I have always wanted to go because a lot of people talk about it as like a bit of a hidden gem, like a really cool, chill kind of bar area. It's all outdoors, which when we got there, I was like, oh, good. I love the outdoors in Florida. It's so comfortable out here. But, it was shaded and it was comfortable enough. I was just like, please bring the iced beverage is coming. We actually sat beside a woman who seemed like she was there solo. She was reading a book, eating a delicious looking burger. I was like, #solo magic. It was wonderful. Now, this is the second reason why I wanted to tell you that I was there with someone, because we ordered like 4 different appetizers. And I mean, I guess you could order 4 appetizers for yourself, but it was very plentiful. And so I don't think, unless you were very hungry, you could eat all that food on your own. So I wanted to let you know that we tried 4 things, and only because I was there with somebody else. Okay, so we tried the crab cakes. We tried something called shrimp on a wire. We got the edamame, and we had the charcuterie plate. So let me talk about the things in that order. The crab cakes weren't great. In fact, later that night, we went to Art of Animation at their food court to eat dinner, and they had this land and sea burger that had a like shrimp and crab cake on top of a burger, and that shrimp and crab cake was better than the crab cakes at the Geyser Point Lounge. So if you want a good shrimp and crab cake, apparently go order a burger from Art of Animation. The edamame was very good. It was kind of standard, exactly what you would expect. So if you want some edamame, like go, order it. The second person that sat beside us was a mom and her daughter. And the daughter came over to our table as we were wrapping up, and there was some edamame left, and we're like, hey, you want to try some? And she kept trying to pop them into her mouth, but she would pop them down. So she would have her mouth open to get the food in, but instead it would go down onto the floor, and it happened a few times. It was pretty cute. Anyway, it was kind of weird, a stranger eating some of our leftover food, but hey, it's Disney. We're all family at Disney, right? The shrimp on a wire is really hard to describe. I would say it's a more citrus, cool, forward shrimp cocktail. It's not like a shrimp cocktail with this spicy, tomato-based horseradish sauce, but it is cooled, chilled shrimp. And it has peppers with it that you could avoid, so it's not it's spicy. And it had a soy lime vinaigrette and chili aioli, and it was so good. It was really, really good. In fact, like I said, I was there with my mother. We were counting out the shrimp because we would have just eaten it. Both of us would have just eaten all of them. So we're oh no, that last one's yours. But I will eat it if you're not going to eat it. Then there is also the charcuterie board, which is definitely, gosh, if you're there with a book and a drink and a charcuterie board, you could just plant yourself there for hours because you're right on the water. It's so beautiful. The ducks will come around and ask you for food, so you get some company as well. Well worth it. It's totally delicious. So definitely check out that bar. It also has a place that you can do pick up food because it is one of their quick service restaurants. But I don't know, unless you're staying there, I don't know where you would be taking it. So definitely check that out. Okay, so Saturday, we're finally at Saturday. It was our last day. We had a brunch at the Wolfgang Puck restaurant at Disney Springs. And in fact, I said to the waitress, why is this breakfast sandwich so expensive? Because it was $28. And she's like, oh, well, it comes with a side. And my mom got an avocado toast, and it seemed a lot cheaper. But you want to know something? It was delicious. The breakfast sandwich that I had, it was brioche bread, a big giant omelet with cheese. There was also this other layer of something garlicky, delicious breakfast potatoes. The sandwich normally comes with bacon. I got the bacon on the side, and it was was like half a pig worth of bacon. I don't know if they put that much bacon on a regular sandwich, but really worth it. The avocado toast that my mom had looked really delicious. It had practically a whole salad on the top of the avocado, on top of the toast. So also very, very filling. It was, again, I want like every meal. It was like the best meal I had that time. Like I said, every single meal was a standout this particular trip. And for dinner, our very last dinner before we got an Uber to the airport was at Olivia's Cafe, which is in Old Key West, one of the deluxe villa DVC hotels that you can usually take the boat to from Disney Springs, or you can take a bus from Disney Springs to Old Key West, or I guess from the parks as well, of course. Olivia's Cafe has a delicious brunch. I did that last year. It was really, really great. When I did it last year, the waitress actually said that she didn't think that the dinner was really that great. And I don't know if they've changed the menu or if maybe we just order different things. But this was, it was so good. I got another appetizer of mussels and of a shrimp cocktail. The mussels were in a beer braised sauce. Like it was a kind of a creamy sauce with a lot of depth and a lot of flavor. And it was one of the best things we ate the whole time. Yeah, it was so, so good. And then for dessert, you can get a key lime, like quote unquote Dole Whip, although there's no pineapple in it, but it's a key lime like ice cream. It was great. It was great. Every single meal was a standout on this trip. And it was, I think, partially because like I really went out of the way to try some new things so I could report back to you all. But also when you really go and look for different unique places to eat and you don't just always go to Casey's Corner, although there's nothing wrong with Casey's Corner if that's what you're into. But I think when you're going like as an adult and you're going solo, there's something really cool about really like pushing the boundaries of like different things that you would eat and being able to like find where those places are. It's not always at Magic Kingdom. In fact, it's rarely at Magic Kingdom, but right from Magic Kingdom, you can go to Wilderness Lodge and have a delicious, like, chilled shrimp, you know? Like, there's so many things that are really, really delicious to have. And I hope you get to experience them as well. Again, with at least one place, you're going to have to find somebody else to go with. But you can still go to Jaleo and, like, get their tapas on their own without the dining package. And I've never been there before, but it's definitely a place that I'll go back, solo or with others. So I hope you also find that out. Oh my gosh, what else? I think that's it. I hope you like me saying over and over and over again, it was the best thing that we ate the whole time. But it really, really was. If you were following on Instagram that week that I was there, I hope you liked our travels. I'll make sure to post some other pictures on the stories and I'll put them as a highlight so you can see all the delicious foods that we had. And what else? Make sure you check out the episode from this week with Farah. It was so fun. She was at Disney Solo when we recorded. And next week, I'm going to have an interview with Matt Richardson, who is a content creator that works remotely from Disney, and he was just really, really awesome to talk to. And then the week after that, I'm going to do Genie Plus episodes. And then the week after that, I have an exclusive interview with Melissa from David's DVC Rentals about why renting DVC points is such a great option for solos. And I can't wait to share that episode with you. All right, another bonus episode in the books. I should just start counting these bonus episodes as regular episodes. I hope you had a wonderful Juneteenth if you were celebrating, and a very happy summer solstice if you were celebrating that as well. This is kind of a really beautiful, energetic, liberatory kind of energy that happens this week. And I hope a lot of wonderful things happen to you this week as well, solos. Until next time, bye. Hi, Solos. It's Samantha. I hope you like this episode and all the episodes of Solo Magic, the podcast about the magic of going to Disney World solo. Just a reminder that you can listen on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. No matter where you're listening, please make sure you subscribe and rate and share with others. You can also connect with me on Instagram, Disney_solo_magic, as well as Facebook, Disney Solo Magic. And we have a new blog, DisneySoloMagic.blogspot.com, that will complement the information that we talk about on the podcast, as well as be able to highlight some different tips and tricks and information that will make your solo trip the most magical ever. Until next week, bye.